I don't know what it is about mushrooms and RTS games. They seem to have a subgenre going on, but I'm all here for it because they're usually quite good games. And Beyond the Grove is the latest one that's gone out into early access. I've had good fun with it, so I wanted to do this video to explain how this game works, because it's a weird mashup of RTS game and auto battler with a bit of a pause and realign going on as the battle plays out. In each run of Beyond the Grove, you are trying to clear multiple battles by ordering around your mushroom men and golems, more on those in a second, and once you've cleared enough battles, you'll then be able to get essence, and essence is used to then buy from a RNG shop to upgrade your army or unlock different elements for you to then craft new golems from. This continues until you reach the end boss, which is some kind of guardian that has gone corrupt. If you're able to clear that, you'll then unlock the next difficulty and be able to ascend up to a harder difficulty level. And this basically will mean another variety of different maps, because they're slightly RNG'd, but you will now have harder enemies to deal with. Battles in Beyond the Grove take a bit of getting used to, so I'm going to explain how it all works. At the start of each battle, you'll place down some flags, and this is where your mushroom army will divide themselves between. You might have 2, you might have 3, depends on what you've kind of upgraded. But you will have a cap, and this is the amount of army that you will have for your battle. And as they wander out to their different rendezvous points, you can place flags and then click and drag for them to kind of assemble there and then march off in a certain direction. And that becomes the auto battle that then runs through the next phase of the battle. The phase of the battle is the blue bar that works across the top of the screen, and as soon as that is full, the battle then pauses to allow you to redirect using those flags where you now want your mushroom army to go, but crucially you can now craft golems to help you out. For every few mushroom army enemies that you kill, you'll gain currency that you can then spend to custom build golems. Golems are divided up into different types. There are 7 elements, but you can mix and match them, and this is where the real fun for Beyond the Grove comes in, because you can do a light and a light so that you get like a sun god, because that's like a level 2 light elemental golem. Or you can mix and match, like having a light and a wind one to create a lightning golem, or light and dark to create a twilight golem. And each one of these has their own, it's a bit like rock, paper, scissors. They will have a strength against one element, a weakness against another, but they'll also have, some will be like ranged attack, some of them will be area of effect, some of them will be very direct, and they all do their own thing. And you'll start off with level 1 golems, but you'll be able to unlock level 2 quite quickly. And then depending on how you upgrade your characters through the overarching skill tree, level 3 and 4 then start to unlock later on down the line. But you'll want to mix and match different combos of the different elements that you've unlocked over the course of your run, so that you can then mix and match which golems you want to get onto the battlefield, because they are so much more superior than the cannon fodder mushroom people that you've got running around. But you'll want to and need to put your mushroom army out there at the beginning to kind of be the cannon fodder to kick off your golem run. And then alongside all of that, there'll be various different mushrooms that will pop up on the ground that you might want to place a flag next to that might give you some more golem currency, or potentially increase your cap of the amount of mushrooms you're allowed onto the field, because you can't replenish any other way. What you've got going into the battle is all you've got. And so you're going to need to think about how you prioritise getting your golems onto the field as quickly as possible, but making sure you've got the right ones for the right situation. And that's what's crucial, because if you put out all of the golems that are weak against whatever's coming your way, you're going to be stook. The trick is that the enemies coming at you, you don't always know what they're going to send your way, because they're playing the exact same game back. And in some levels you'll be 1-on-1, others you might be 2 versus 1, or 1 versus 1 versus 1, and some will go up to having 3 other armies on the battlefield. And sometimes they'll go after each other just by how they're coming towards you. And sometimes it's better to kind of hold back and go after maybe some of the huts that are dotted around the maps that will then give you maybe your mushroom army a +1 damage or a +1 health or a 5% critical hit chance or something like that. All of these are incredibly helpful. But it's all about getting those golems out onto the field, because that's the only way how you can sustain basically your army from not being totally overwhelmed by what's going on after particularly the first couple of levels. Beyond this, whenever you've then completed a battle, you'll then get taken into the upgrade shop, and where you'll have collected essence through the amount of kills that you've done, but also you might have gone and spent some time finding maybe some damaged guardians and then helped and healed them, and they'll give you essence back. You can then spend that on either unlocking more elements, which then gives you more variety of golems to play with, or it might be that you upgrade either permanent things for your run, such as the health, the spawn rate, the move rate, the critical hit chance, maybe even the base damage of all of your mushroom army or your golems. Or for a cheaper option, you can buy something that will only occur for the very next run. And sometimes I found that was really useful to use just when you was about to hit a boss battle, because you might know that you need to kind of overwhelm with lots and lots of extra mushroom when. So spending 40 essence to get an extra 40 mushrooms on the field can be very, very helpful. That said, this is a game that gets better the more you play it. The more you play, the more XP you gain, the more levels you can then unlock for your golems, so that you can then start playing with level 3 and level 4 golem varieties and finding all of the weird and wonderful combinations that you've got. And then the difficulty gets much harder as the enemies and the base mushrooms of your enemies start to then become more of a hazard, and you have to start thinking about them more. My one big crucial complaint with Beyond the Grove, though, is that its difficulty curve is absolutely all over the place. I went into one run and the very first level was a boss battle, and I'd only just started, and I thought, what am I supposed to do with that? God knows how I won, it was a miracle. But then like the next 2 or 3 battles are really, really easy. Then there'll be an absolutely crazy hard one. And because these levels and designs are all being pulled in a random rotation, it seems, it's pure luck as to whether or not you get some nice easy ones to get up and running and build up your army, or whether you're going to get absolutely pummeled straight out the gate and think, oh no, wah, wah, wah. And this happens constantly. So even like your sub-boss battles will appear, as I said, in level 1. Sometimes it's level 10. It's not where it says it's going to be on the map. So I found that very confusing, and it got increasingly more dishevelled and uneven the more I played Beyond the Grove. And so whilst I absolutely love what's going on here and will be happy to dive back in and keep on playing, this is in desperate need of some difficulty balancing to make sure that actually easier battles happen earlier on and they get progressively more complex or harder over time, not this kind of wild seismograph seesaw back up and down. Because if that gets that right, then actually Beyond the Grove, I think, is a very Moorish, addictive and fast-paced RTS game with nice strategic pauses in there for you to then reassess your tactics and then go again, which allows you to course correct because everyone else is also then charging in a new direction at the same time. But also it kind of means that you've got not less pressure than an RTS game. It's that kind of weird hybrid in the middle where it's RTS with strategic pause that kind of makes you go, have I done the right thing? And then you can think about that and then go again. And I quite like that kind of middle ground. If this looks good for you, Beyond the Grove is out in early access now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.